in the bottom left. Winning that last game in a very weird way. From Poland, he is...
Ego Esports, Elazer.
What's also still weird about the game is that the oracles were not brought with the mass adept attack.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of supposed to happen.
Were they at home defense? Well, we'll talk about that in a second. The top right, losing that last game in a weird way, he is...
Ting, Neeb.
Were the oracles sitting at the third nexus or something? I'm not even sure where they were.
I think that is indeed what happened at first, but there really wasn't anything on the other side of the map anyway. Elazer clearly needed everything at home.
Yeah.
Because those were like 21 adepts with resonating glaives. And like, I must say, like obviously 25 drones going down, it's a crazy amount. And Neeb was in a good position, but I still thought it was going to be worse because he really didn't have anything. And it's like, okay, he just barely had the number of drones left where it's like 38, but then you fire up 13, so you had 51, right? And then it's one more big round. Hopefully you can get away with that. And then it's still a game. So it was crazy damage, but at least I must say Elazer did a good job in making sure it wasn't game-ending damage.
Yeah, yeah. And it felt like Neeb could have controlled the adepts a little bit better, right? Like he shaded into the main. I thought that was good. He took off some units and stuff, and then he sent a big shade to the third and then like a couple to the natural, but then the main ones just sat there. So, I mean, you know, there was a little bit of... Yeah, I mean, that stuff is so hard to control that, but we know that Neeb could have done a little bit better on that attack as well.
You know what's funny about that kind of stuff? Like, I recognized that once when somebody actually casted my game. And I had a moment like that where I was like, oh my god, I'm playing so good, you know, for my own feeling. Because I was like, focus fire. And then I had like a DT denying a base somewhere. I was like, I'm on fire. And then I watched the broadcast of this person who casted me. And they're like, Roddy is really playing sloppy right now. Like the only part where I wasn't looking was the part that was being broadcasted. And I was like, man, that sucks, okay? Like I was playing my heart out. And I really thought, like, this good, that's good. And then they showed the other 5 adepts that are clumped up and get killed off by 3 banelings. I'm like, you know what? I don't deserve that. So sometimes it's a bit deceiving as well, right? Because we don't necessarily know where Neeb was looking. But I do agree with you, like the 5 adepts that were standing in the main, it really did feel that those, even if you just send them into the corner of the main where the other units have to chase, you pull them further away from the rest of the units. So.
Yeah, even just a move command or something like that. But, you know, you're doing a hell of a lot in a game like this. So look at this game, right? We're on new Repugnancy. I see a Robo. Are we just going to have an Immortal push? It's a popular build for the map. Come down that ramp right there, strong attack.
Yep, and Elazer has been pretty vocal about some of these builds. He's not a very big fan of it.
Well, especially considering he got rid of Kairos, like that just tells you what he doesn't want to play against.
Yep. I think you have a good point there. Let's see if these adepts can get their first drone. No, they can't, but they did get 3 Zerglings.
Yeah.
And they get out of there.
Good control there by Neeb, of course.
This is the only Overlord, by the way, right? On the other side of the map.
Yep. Nothing up near the main or anything like that, but, you know, when you see, generally speaking at least, when you see the Prism come out, you pretty much know what's going on.
Well, the funny thing is there's an Observer after this. So
it could just be one of these more macro-esque builds where you're actually clearing creep with your Prism.
Yep.
I would think it must be that, right?
Now he's getting an Immortal as well. I think, you know, I think that Neeb can take this many ways. That's obviously something that Elazer is aware of as well. But I think that Neeb also knows that Elazer is a kind of Zerg that is going to build a lot of units regardless. Like, you know, that's just what he shines at. I don't say that he can't play late game, because obviously he can. But you can also see, like, if I think of Elazer's strengths, I more think of, like, the early mid-game, the mid-game, multi-prong, a lot of units, good engagements. Like, I think that's kind of where his real strengths are. He doesn't really strike me as, like, the ultimate turtler to, like, Infester, Viper. Sure, he can do it, but that's not where his strengths are.
For sure, I agree with that. And that actually makes me think that this is a good choice from Neeb. At the height of the power of the Immortal pushes, I loved kind of faking that you were going to do it and then going Forge Twilight and going 3 base into the Immortal push. I think it's really strong.
This is a good move already as well. All of these drones are being forced to go to the north side of the main base here. Neeb is getting some more free damage and really hasn't lost a lot yet.
Yeah. 4 drone kills, a few lings here and there, keeping your opponent back, getting a little bit of scouting done as well. This is a really high quality move.
Yep, and Elazer is a little bit paranoid about what's behind this because now he's already building roaches. But if you compare it to the previous game, he started building roaches of like 55, 56 rounds. This time it's 46 rounds.
Yeah, Neeb Gonna continue to harass a little bit, I would imagine, but I don't think he's gonna get too much more damage done at this point.
Is it just me, or is that like a lot of roaches?
Yeah. Well, this sometimes happens. I mean, you think that this push is coming, and I mean, as soon as you see the Prism first, you know that it's Robo first. It's really in your mind that they're going to do a push like this, especially on a map like New Repugnancy.
Yeah, well, Elazer's got a big army out, so I don't think he has much to worry about, but I feel like he built so many units, and it's probably the amount of, like, let's see if I can get something done on the other side of the map, even though we do see a few additional drones on the way. A few more Overlords, of course, as well. Elazer loves his Ovies, man.
Well, he is going to have to move out. I don't think he's going to do damage, though. You know,
you've
got Immortals, you've got Sentries. I mean, you're pretty safe with this build as Neeb. It's a very solid way to play. You actually want them to make these units.
Yep. No, I think that this is exactly going the way that Neeb wants it to go, and I think Elazer is hoping to catch a break somewhere, right? Get a lucky kill maybe on the Prism, then get a couple roaches maybe into the natural, just anything that makes you feel good about this game. Because right now I don't think Elazer is super happy with it. All that he's been doing is losing a couple of units here and there, made a lot of units, hasn't really been able to get much out of it.
Well, you know, right now the Baneling Nest coming up I gotta talk about for a second, because I really like this. To be honest, if he goes into a similar type of composition, especially if he can continue to push this creep out a bit. Obviously, we've seen a few Tomers killed here and there, but doesn't feel like any sustained effort on that.
Yeah, it's a little bit similar to what we saw, I think, on Thunderbird as well, right? Where he just got +1 missile attacks. He got +1 melee as well. Actually, he went for +2 melee, but I think on Acropolis we saw +1 missile attacks.
Yeah.
And that's the only upgrade we saw, other than Bailing Speed. And this is kind of more of Acropolis. I think Elazer probably thinks about that previous game. He's like, hey man, I really don't feel that game went that good for me, but I won. Maybe I should try this again. Now, Elazer is actually still building a lot of units, but he also went up to 62 drones. That's quite a bit. Neeb, yes, he went 3 bases, but he's only at 45 workers. 1 Immortal is exposed here, though, but Neeb's army is powerful.
Yeah, a lot of roaches are on the other side of the map, so I think it's a fair trade for the time being, at least.
Did the Immortal go down? Yes, it did go down. It's forcing out a couple of defensive Zealot Warpins as well. This is a really good move by Elazer, sending those roaches there.
So what does Neeb do here? I mean, does he keep this push going? He's removing some of the creep. It almost feels like he should be pulling back. I feel like Elazer's going to hold this.
Yep, because he's got a lot of units out, and especially buying so much time, right? Picking up an Immortal, forcing out a defensive Warpin. You gotta love the way that has gone for Elazer.
Absolutely, and what I really want to see from him at this point is just being careful to make sure he flanks in case that Prism really sets up. But look at this, he's actually coming down here and taking the battle.
Well, he gets a couple of Banelings. He activates all of the barriers, so that's nice. But I do think it's smart by Elazer to go away there. He sees the amount of Zealots that have been wiped in. Don't forget, there are more Zealots on the right side. Those were the initial defending Zealots. So I think that was the right choice to back up at that point. I mean, this is a very even game because Elazer, yes, he's working with inferior units, but he is doing it with a better economy. And I think there's a lot of potential in his army as well.
Hey, pushing forward right now. Ooh, those High Templars getting picked up. He's got to get back and make some Archons. Going to take the high ground here. Ooh, tries to hot pick up that one by dropping another out. Wow, but actually lost both.
Yeah, he basically got an Archon kill there, right?
Yeah.
Wants to get up this ramp as well. I feel like the Immortals, once again, very clumped up. All of the barriers, I feel like, are activated. Where are the Zealots where you need them the most? They're on the other side of the map, then.
Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble as these Banelings roll in as well. The Zealots are going for a counterattack, so maybe they can get some damage done. In the meantime, 4 Immortals and 2 Archons holding down his third.
Yeah, these Zealots are absolutely going to get some damage done, but Banelings coming in as well. These Ravages kind of left behind, though. Neeb chasing it down, even though he's down in supply. Neeb lost a lot of, I want to say a lot. He lost 9 workers, but he only had like 47 to begin with, so that really hurts.
Yeah, he's taken a long time to actually set up that third base because he has tried to be so aggressive. Yeah, it's like he wants to be attacking her. You got to pick off a lot of units as well, so I don't blame him for going for it.
Yep, I think he just wants to win the game, Dan. He's getting a few more Archons, and obviously he can chrono boost the gates and just warp in Zealots, spend the minerals, and that's going to be it. And with a little bit of juggling in the Warp Prism, it should be doable.
All right, let's see if he can actually break through. Some good Biles coming down, zoning this army back, at least for a moment. And here we go, Neeb starting to push in. He's got to be so careful about this Prism. Losing that could mean the end.
Absolutely. The Prism Super MVP here. We saw that earlier in some of these other PVZs as well. Cannot afford to lose it. Is Elazer on 4 bases against a Neeb who's on 39? If Elazer defends, he's going to be in a magnificent position, but it's going to be very, very difficult.
Ooh, those Zealots at the third base doing some serious work. A few Roaches come in and try to pull them out of that mineral line, while Neeb is microing here at the natural, picking off a lot of units, and GG is called.